Good evening, all. I'd like to welcome you to the Village Council meeting of Monday, October 10th, 2022. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Commissioner Wade.
Here.
Commissioner Walters.
Present.
Commissioner Polk.
Present.
Commissioner Reed.
Present.
Mayor Condon.
Here. Let's all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You have in the packets this evening drafted minutes from our previous meeting. Any questions or comments? If not, I would seek a motion to approve at this time.
So moved.
Second.
Hearing a motion in a second, will the clerk please call the roll?
Commissioner Polk.
Yes.
Commissioner Walters.
Yes.
Commissioner Wade.
Yes.
Commissioner Reed.
Yes.
Mayor Condon.
Yes, and motion carries. Next item on the agenda is to approve the appointment of Terry Kaczynski to the Palos Park Library Board of Trustees to fill a vacancy with a term to expire June 1st, 2025. Just a little background, the Board of Trustees of the Palos Park Library voted unanimously to recommend the appointment of Terry Kaczynski as trustee to the library board for a term to expire June 1st, 2025. Terry would fill the remaining term of Catherine Finan, who resigned from the library board. Terry has been a resident of Palos Park since 2015. Terry is a member of the library strategic planning committee and would be an asset to the library board. Her commitment to the library, educational background, and work experience makes her a perfect candidate for trustee. I would seek a motion to approve the appointment of Terry Kaczynski to the Palos Park Library Board of Trustees to fill a vacancy with a term to expire June 1st, 2025.
So moved.
Second.
Hearing a motion in a second, will the clerk please call the roll?
Commissioner Polk.
Yes.
Commissioner Walters.
Yes.
Commissioner Wade.
Yes.
Commissioner Reed. Commissioner Reed.
Oh, I'm sorry, yes.
And Mayor Condon.
Yes, and motion carries. And I just wanted to let you know that Terry is with us this evening in the audience. Say hello. Thank you very much for your service, Terry.
Welcome.
Consent agenda. All items on the consent agenda are routine or been brought forward at the direction of the Board of Commissioners and will be enacted with one motion. If discussion is desired, that item will be removed from the consent agenda and considered separately. Item A, to approve the McCord Gallery and Cultural Center raffle license and raffle manager bond waiver for a raffle to be held on November 5th, 2022 at Cog Hill Golf and Country Club. Item B, to approve the intergovernmental agreement between the Village of Palos Park and the Cook County Department of Public Health for the provision of environmental health inspection services, Palos Park restaurant inspections for the time period of December 1st, 2022 through November 30th, 2023 at a cost of $100 per inspection. Item C, to approve payment of invoices on the warrant list dated October 10th, 2022 in the amount of $270,050.84. Item D, to approve the supplemental warrant list dated October 10th, 2022 for manual checks, payroll, and recurring wire transfers in the amount of $428,788.20. Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda at this time?
So moved.
Second.
Hearing a motion in a second, will the clerk please call the roll?
Commissioner Polk.
Yes.
Commissioner Walters.
Yes.
Commissioner Wade.
Yes.
Commissioner Reed.
Yes.
Mayor Condon.
Yes, and motion carries. Any items of old business to be brought before the council? I will move to information updates, Public Works and Streets Recreation Report, Commissioner Milovich Walters.
Thank you, Mayor Mahoney. I just have two quick items on the agenda. First is regarding the boilers here at the Captor Center. In March of this year, council approved replacing the boilers at the Captor Center. The work was recently completed and tested. The last step is to update computer programming and integrate the boilers into the system. Currently, the boilers can only be controlled manually. This computer integration will allow the boilers to be controlled remotely using computer access. We asked for and received a proposal from Building Automation Systems to complete the work, and the cost is $6,900. motion to approve the proposal from Building Automation Solutions in the amount of $6,900 to integrate the new boilers into the computer system that controls the Captor HVAC system.
Second.
Any questions? If not, will the clerk please call the roll?
Commissioner Milovich Walters?
Yes.
Commissioner Wade?
Yes.
Commissioner Polk?
Yep.
Commissioner Reed?
Yes.
Mayor Mahoney?
Yes, and motion carries.
Thank you. My second item is regarding our 2022 roadway and drainage project. On August 8th, 2022, the Village Council awarded our roadway and paving project to K5 in the amount of $29,230. Sorry, all those zeros threw me there. Attached is a pay estimate number 1 in the amount of $87,583.32. Public Works is asking for approval of this pay estimate. This amount covers all work done to date, but does withhold 10% as retention. Any questions? I'd like to make a motion to approve pay estimate number 1 for the 2022 roadway drainage project to K5 in the amount of $87,583.32.
Second.
Hearing a motion and a second, will the clerk please call the roll?
Commissioner Milovich Walters?
Yes.
Commissioner Wade?
Yes.
Commissioner Polk?
Yes.
Commissioner Reed?
Yes.
Mayor Mahoney?
Yes, and motion carries.
And then along that
Hold on a
vein-
second. Mike, when do you think the project's gonna be finished?
If everything goes really well, maybe the end of November, depending on the temperatures and
I was
weather.
gonna say, you think they'll be making asphalt that month?
Oh, yeah. We'll get some streets done. I don't know if we're gonna get everything done. I'd like to button up the areas that we have the storm sewer in, get that cleaned up and paved, and then we kind of go from there.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And along those lines, just so, and a little update, the roadway and drainage project in the Dalles has begun. For the past 2 weeks, Emergia, a subcontractor of K5, has been installing the storm sewer portion of the project. Their work should be completed in the middle of next week, and then the road work should start on the last week of October. So then, as Mike was saying, as much as we can get that start where the sewers were done, and if we can get them all done, they will all get done by the end of November.
Sorry to step on your toes.
Oh, not at all, silly. That concludes my report.
If I could take a moment to just comment on the last statements that you made, Commissioner,
Yes.
relative to the Dells, I'd like to take a minute to thank the director, Mike Sabrata, and village manager Bain relative to an incident that arose in the Dells over the weekend. Thankfully, they were able to get in contact with the contractor during off hours to address the situation to avoid any potential liability to the village. So I want to applaud them. It's very rare that I give a contractor any kudos, but in this instance I have to do so. So once again, thank you on behalf of all of us here in the Dells for the work that's been done to date.
Thank
Fair
you,
enough.
Commissioner. And that concludes my report. I'm done.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Wade, Building and Public Property Report.
Thanks, Mayor. Real quick, the carbon monoxide safety, the building department would like to advise residents to change their batteries in your carbon monoxide and smoke detectors. If you do not currently have a carbon monoxide detector, please consider getting one. Illinois state law requires that every home be equipped with at least one carbon monoxide alarm within 15 feet of every bedroom. Additional detectors on every level of your home provide extra protection against carbon monoxide poisoning. Moving right along, the building department processed 8 permits from September 21 to October 4th, resulting in $19,973.75. And 11 inspections were also completed during that time. And that concludes my report.
Thank you, Commissioner Wade. Public Health and Safety, Commissioner Polk.
Thank you, Mayor Mahoney. Start with the police activity report from the 26th of September through the 9th of October, the year of our Lord 2022. We had 1,774 calls for service. Of those, we made 78 traffic stops. Out of those 78, we had 23 moving violations, an additional 20 adjudication tickets, and 35 speeding tickets. We arrested no adults, we had no juveniles arrested, didn't impound any vehicles. We had 21 citizen assist calls, an additional 17 case reports, and 4 accident reports. So that is what the Palos Park Police Department's been up to lately. And then a couple of quick announcements. The first is the Palos Park Police Pink Patch program. Palos Park Police Pink Patch program. They are an ongoing effort on the behalf of the Palos Park Police Department to recognize the effect of particularly breast cancer in the community and also within the department itself. In addition to our normal pink embroidered patch, which I will tell you will sell out because they do all the time, we have a magnet that has the same design but suitable for putting on whatever magnetic surface you want to put it on. They're available for $10 per item. 100% of those proceeds go to cancer-related causes. In order to be able to purchase one, they must be purchased in person at the police department, which is that half of the Captor Center. We are not able to mail or ship items, and they'll be available during normal business hours, Monday through Friday, 9 to 5 p.m. So that does it for the pink patch. And then, another giveaway that we do every year, on Halloween, local children will take to the streets dressed in their costumes for a day of fun trick-or-treating. We have no set hours in the park for trick-or-treating. I ask that you respect your neighbors, and so probably once it turns dusky and into dark, many people will turn off their porch lights. If their porch lights are turned off, I don't believe that's an invitation to come up to the porch. If their porch lights are on, I'll warn citizens, you're fair game. So think about that. You can also stop into the Palos Park Police Headquarters and get your free reflective trick-or-treat bag, available at no cost to you. Again, during normal administrative hours, and we'll be happy to give you as many bags as you'd like, as long as it's less than about 100.
I'm so glad you addressed that, because already, starting in mid-September, people are planning for Halloween.
Have you seen the Stranger Things house in Plainfield yet?
No.
Oh, wow, I can't wait to go. I've watched it on Facebook now.
Well, we often get questions about what are the hours for trick-or-treating on Halloween, and we don't set hours, but I'll give you some suggestions. Probably ought to confine trick-or-treating to the actual day of Halloween itself. So, I won't give my usual warning about the Snickers bars. We'll save that for some other time. And then a couple of other quick announcements. Palos Park Police Department is out making senior well-being checks. If you know someone who needs assistance in our community, just contact us. Call 708-671-3770 or 708-448-2191 to request a well-being check for anyone. You don't have to confine it to just seniors, and we'll be happy to go out, introduce ourselves, and see how they're doing. Also, keep your eyes on social media. We have Coffee with the Cop and lunch forums, as well as other community organizations and church gatherings where the PPD will be present. We're happy to talk to anyone at any time about anything, and we believe that this helps to build mutual trust, which is essential to addressing problems. And Chief Miller, anything you care to add?
Just an update, communicating between the mayor with the body cam issue. A meeting today with some of my counterparts, similar size to us, in the same year that we would fall into the mandates. And obviously the big issue all of us are having is, will the money be forthcoming as promised by the state of Illinois? It is an issue being taken up in the fall veto session. It's obviously being lobbied, at least on our end, from the Illinois Chiefs Association, is the funding issue, particularly for smaller places, and the cost factors of the cameras themselves, the collection of the data, the storage of the data, and really the bigger issue is the redaction and so forth, because anybody can come in and ask for that video, but when we give them the video, if you're on the video, we can't give them your date of birth, we can't give them your personal information. Someone under our employee is gonna have to redact that. In our case, we would probably have a third party do that, Oral Park, bigger places will probably have people on staff to do that. But the reality is, anything that we do, would be public record, including what's ever on that body cam.
Yeah, on the surface, this sounds like another one of those things that at first pass sounds like a great idea. And it is a great idea. It's the implementation of the idea that is a particular issue. And when you start to look at the cost of data storage, particularly over the period of time that it's suggested or required to be stored, that runs into multiples of what the cameras themselves cost. And then the additional issue of having to have a source, whether that be an in-house staff or out-house contract, that can respond to requests for release of those, of that data in a form that's appropriate. And those are not insignificant. And we were promised a source of funding for that activity, and it's yet to have seen any indication that it will actually be funded. So
We're being told it will be part of the fall veto session as far as funding it. The only other issue is we will be participating in some Halloween activities not on Halloween, and that is coming up this Saturday in the courthouse, trunk or treat.
fair enough.
Hey,
Anything else?
Real quick, how long is the data storage from each camera? Like, how long do you have to keep it on file?
Well, the law says 90 days. Some places are keeping them longer. Others are looking at other options, but currently the way the law is written, it's gonna have to be stored for 90 days if it's an innocuous encounter.
Yeah.
Which in this country, millions of those happen every day and none of us know about. But it's obviously the ones where it's obviously a court action, there's litigation, either in the criminal courts or that civil that Kleinthorpe or Irma's dealing with, then obviously much longer. But right now, the storage is 90 days.
But also multiply that times 24 hours in a day times X number of officers, it multiplies pretty quick. That's all I have, Mayor.
Thank you. Accounts and Finances, Commissioner Reed.
Thank you, Mayor Mahoney. I have before you this evening an ordinance or seeking approval of an ordinance 2022-18, an ordinance authorizing the Village of Penrose Park, Cook County, Illinois, to borrow funds from the Public Water Supply Loan Program L175228 in parens. The ordinance states the village is authorized to enter into a loan agreement with the Illinois EPA for a loan of funds for the public water system improvements, and village council of the village has determined that it is advisable, necessary, and in the best interest of public health, safety, and welfare to implement the system, including water main construction of approximately 5,700 linear feet of 16-inch water main along McCarthy Road, including all fire hydrants, valves, valve vaults, and other appurtenant and other stuff. Estimated cost of $2.3 million for construction and installation of the project, including engineering, legal, financial, and other related expenses. That was a mouthful. What is the Public Water Supply Program, you may ask? In 1997, the General Assembly created within the state treasury a water revolving fund consisting of 3 interest-bearing special programs to be known as the Water Pollution Control Loan Program, the Public Water Supply Loan Program, and the Loan Support Program. Our focus tonight will be on the Public Water Supply Loan Program, which was created to, among other things, aid local government units for certain public purposes, among which is to make direct loans at or below market interest rates to any eligible local government unit to finance the construction of public water supplies. The village has engineered a water system extension joint McCarthy Road, which will consist of the construction of approximately 5,700 linear feet of 16-inch water main along McCarthy, including all fire hydrants, valves, vaults, and other stuff in relation to construction. The water main is to be extended along the north side of McCarthy Road from just west of the intersection of Little Cook Road to west of the promenade right-of-way west of Bell Road, approximately 1,400 feet west of Bell Road. Tonight's request is an update to Ordinance 2018-30 adopted by the Council on November 12th of 2018. The updates being requested include additional length of pipe from 4,300 linear feet to 5,700 linear feet, an estimated cost increase from $1.5 million to $2.3 million. The cost estimate is from consultant Baxter Woodman and the village engineer. As no council action was taken pursuant to Ordinance 2018-30, that ordinance will be considered void if the council approves the requested prayer for relief this evening. The village is seeking this loan as there are insufficient funds on hand and lawfully available to pay the $2.3 million estimated cost of construction and installation of the project. Prior to creating the bid documents, bidding the work, and finalizing a loan through the Illinois EPA, staff is requesting the village council to consider and approve the necessary ordinance to allow for the village to borrow monies through the loan fund. The ordinance provides that the IEPA loan, when issued, shall be repaid over a period of 20 years using, and I quote, revenues derived from water user fees, end quote. The loan will not count towards the village's outstanding indebtedness or limit the village's ability to issue additional debt in the future. Should the council approve Ordinance 2022-30, a notice of intent to borrow funds and right to file a petition will be in the October 2022 legal notice section of the Regional News, the Palos Park Edition. This public notice provides that the council intends to enter into a loan agreement with the IEPA in a principal amount not to exceed $2.3 million. The notice further advises the process to file a, I quote, backdoor referendum, end quote, question. A petition to cause the question to be placed on the April 4th, 2023 ballot will be available in the village clerk's office. If no such petition is filed within 30 days of the notice being placed in the newspaper, the clerk will execute a no referendum certificate. Staff has recommended that the village council approve Ordinance 2022-18, which is another step in the process to extend the village's water utility. Unless there are further questions of me, I would move to approve Ordinance 2022-18, an ordinance authorizing the village of Palos Park, Cook County, Illinois, to borrow funds from the Public Water Supply Loan Program L175-228, and would seek a second.
Second.
Any questions of Commissioner Reed? If not.
Commissioner Reed, this is Commissioner Pohl.
Yes, sir.
One of the things I've learned to respect in your many talents is the ability to be able to rephrase stuff in language that common folk could typically understand. Could you give me a sort of mid-altitude view of what this says in English?
Yeah, we got to get along. It's not going to hurt the village's debt. And the state has set up this program specifically for this purpose, for local communities to go in there and get the money to improve their water systems. That's pretty much all we're asking for.
And the recipients of the water are?
Those folks who will be coming into the village, the new folks. The old folks, us, we don't have to pay this. Folks, the loan will be repaid through end-user fees. When folks come onto the system, they will pay fees, which in turn will go back to refund the loan. We, the existing residents of Palos Park, will not bear the brunt of this expense. Only the new folks coming in to utilize the system will bear the expense. Cost causer equals cost payer.
Thank you, and then I just have one additional comment. If you haven't driven west on McCarthy past Bell lately, I encourage you to go out and take a look, because what has happened to Glen Eagles is mind-blowing. And at one point, Glen Eagles was a part of the park. And then it was allowed to de-annex for several reasons, but one of the more principal reasons was we had no infrastructure that was supplying anything to that property. And I think that another really important reason to put some pipe in the ground here is to make sure that not only can we service the people who are out there, but they remain a piece of the village. That's all I've got right now.
Both of you, well said. Any other questions or comments? If not, will the clerk please call the roll?
That's Commissioner Reed,
Yes.
Commissioner Milovich Walters.
Yes.
Commissioner Wade,
Yes.
Commissioner Polk,
Absolutely.
and Mayor Mahoney.
Yes, and motion carries.
That concludes my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Well done, Commissioner.
Mayor's report, I have nothing this evening. Clerk Aragoni, do you have anything?
Yeah, I just want to talk a little bit about the election on November the 8th. You can apply to permanently be placed so that you could vote by mail all of the time. You would go to cookcountyclerk.com, vote by mail. Now, in this area, early voting will start on October 24th at the Palos Heights Recreation Center, 6601 West 127th Street in Palos Heights. And of course, election day is November 8th, and polls are open from 6 a.m. to 7 p.m. If you're not registered, you can register and vote on the same day. Just bring identification with you. And that concludes my report.
Thank you. Manager Bain, do you have anything to say?
I have nothing.
Announcements. I have a few. Zoning Board of Appeals meeting is canceled as there are no agenda items on October 12th. The Police Pension Board will hold their meeting on Monday, October 17th at 7 p.m. at the Village Hall. The Rec Advisory Board will not meet October 18th. The next scheduled meeting is January 6, 2023. The Historic Preservation Committee will not meet on October 18th as there are no agenda items. The Library Board will hold their regular meeting on Wednesday, October 19th at 5 p.m. at the library. Good luck. The Palos Fine Arts Committee meeting for Thursday, October 20th has been canceled. The Plan Commission will hold a public hearing on October 20th at 7 p.m. in the village, and the council room to consider a text amendment to section 126404 of the village code regarding authorized variances and how it relates to the construction of swimming pools. It is officially Pumpkin Days at the Center's Children's Farm. Plan a visit to the farm. There is an admission fee for the pumpkin playland of $12 per person over the age of 2. The fee covers admission to visit the farm animals, rack rides, spooky woodshed, U-Pet pumpkin patch, and more. There is no fee for families to come to the farm and just purchase a pumpkin. The Children's Farm will be open Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays from 10 a.m. through 4 p.m. during October. Anyone from the audience like to address the council? Hearing no such request, I would seek a motion to adjourn the meeting at this time.
So moved.
Second.
Hearing a motion in a second, will the clerk please call the roll?
Commissioner Polk.
Yep.
Commissioner Milovich Walters.
Yes.
Commissioner Wade,
Yes.
Commissioner Reed,
Yes.
and Mayor Mahoney.
Yes, motion carries. Thank you all and good evening.
Be safe out there.